Good evening. Welcome to day 12 of the building a Techno Set from scratch. My name's Tom Cosm. Hope you're all doing well. So this particular series or day, we're going to be talking about the problems I faced in the actual performance I did last Saturday, and we're going to be fixing up a lot of those problems, because if you haven't seen the video already, I posted a video before this one in the series of some excerpts of the actual event, and there were so many problems, but yeah, I was really beating myself up about it. I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with the recording, and I gave myself a couple of days and I had a look, and yeah, I actually thought, wow, I actually managed to play a proper techno set, but it was working at about 20% of the operation of what it should. So I want to kind of address those problems, make sure it doesn't have it happen again, fix any of the problems, and kind of brainstorm on how we can prevent that from happening. I am going to be doing another performance in my studio on Saturday, and the link's in the description if you're on YouTube or Facebook. I'm going to do it in my studio where I know everything works. So the problems I faced, first of all, if you've been following the series, you probably know that my MacBook LCD screen died halfway through the creation process, and that was near the week leading up to the party, and that was a bit of an issue because, you know, I had to go out, buy a new laptop, I had to research like crazy, get a new laptop, migrate everything. I chose a Windows laptop over a Mac because the new Macs just don't have what I need as far as audio goes, like multiple USB hubs, HDMI out, all that kind of stuff. So that took a whole day out of my schedule, which was really bad because I had timed everything really, really tightly. So that whole day I lost was the day that I was going to set up. So I was going to go to the party on the Friday and set up. But unfortunately that didn't happen. So I had to turn up to the party just before my set and just hoped that things would work, which they didn't really. So that was one of the main problems. The second main problem is the big automator thing that we've been building here. This didn't work properly. Like during the day leading up to the party, when I was supposed to be practicing and making sure everything was right, the automator completely crashed, and it did a really weird crash. It was happening when I was playing around with my brainwave stuff, so I'm not too sure what happened, but the actual Max for Live patch JSON file got corrupted. There were all these characters throughout the file that weren't supposed to be there, and Ableton Live wouldn't let me open it. It basically just said, sorry, this patch is fucked. And that was really annoying because I'm not very good at saving as often as I can or at version control. So I had to roll back to the very last one that I possibly had, and there was about 4 hours of work that I needed to redo in about an hour. So this is at about 6 o'clock at night, and I was performing at 11, and I was already supposed to be at the party setting up. So I had to quickly Max for Live, try and recreate the automator. I didn't manage to do it properly. It ran into some issues, so that was another issue we had. Obviously turning up to the party really late was crazy. It doesn't sound like much, but turning up when there's a dance floor going crazy and there's lights flashing and there's DJs plugging, and the guy before me was a complete live act with hardware as well. So I was trying to plug everything in and trying to get everything sorted in the dark. So that was really, really difficult as well. I didn't really have a chance to test anything. I was literally this close to pulling out of doing my set, I really have to admit. The DJ girl who was before or after me, I was about to say to her, look, I can't play. Like, I was that close, and then I did some really quick reconfiguration and I just managed to get it working, but everything was working at about 20% of what it should have. So the other issue I faced was it was some kind of USB power issue. So at the venue, these three devices, which are the core devices that I wanted to use, I didn't want to touch my laptop. They all weren't working together properly. So I had control of these two, but not the push. Or the push would start working, and then these would turn into control surfaces as well. So they weren't sending MIDI like they should. So they weren't controlling the things that I wanted to. But the most frustrating thing was the push not working properly. It was displaying properly, but I couldn't do things like trigger scenes. I couldn't get in there and tweak the synths, so I was pretty much restricted to using return tracks with reverbs, using cutoff filters. Eventually, near the end of my set, I managed to get it all working at once, but I'm not too sure what was going on there. I'm using the same USB hub as I'm using now. I stress tested before the stream to see if there was anything that I could do. I could not replicate that problem. I have had 2 other artists from the party say that their gear was really weird, who were playing off laptops at the event as well. So I don't know much about power and how it works, but maybe there was dirty power or some kind of thing, lighting hooked into the audio or something that was glitching out the USB, because it seemed like what would happen is in the live preferences here, this is how it should look. And what happened was I would get the launch controls turn up as surfaces again, and then these would all turn orange, which meant I couldn't use them. So I'm fiddling around in the preferences while this techno's going, and I'm desperately trying to make it evolve just using basic stuff. I also had to use my trackpad to trigger all the clips and stuff which I'd made. So if you look down here, you see that I've made a whole bunch of clips with different variations, and they kind of lead into each other, so I could only really trigger one at a time rather than use the push. So that was really interesting experience. New computer too, so the trackpad I'm not absolutely fully used to. The club was hot and sweaty, so it was all kind of slimy and hard to click, and I kept clicking on the wrong thing. But again, I still managed to pull it off. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't care if it's a kick drum for 60 minutes, I'm just gonna do it. And yeah, it actually turned out quite well. Like afterwards, I was pissed off. I was pissed off at myself, pissed off that I hadn't given myself enough time to prepare. And heaps of people were telling me it was fucking awesome, and that was just pissing me off even more, because I was like, no, it wasn't. It was shit. But I just needed a couple of days of feeling sorry for myself, and then I actually watched the recording. I'm like, hey, this is actually okay. And if that is okay at 20% operation, like if I could pull that off with the limited resources that I had, then imagine what the actual thing would be like, and that made me really excited. So today's stream is going to be focused on what went wrong and fixing up things and making sure that they don't happen again. And yeah, it's all part of the learning process. As I say in every stream, I want this series to be from the spark in my head when I had the idea to the actual finished product, and part of that is failure and learning about mistakes and problem solving and debugging. So that's all good. On the plus side, the new computer didn't have any issues whatsoever. The conflicting issues, I believe, was the USB hub power thing. The audio was fine, Ableton was fine, Windows ran great. What I did notice was that my CPU level got quite high. It never got too high that it glitched, but it got quite high, up into the 50s and the 60s, and that's a little bit too high for me to feel safe. So one thing I want to do in today's stream is to reduce CPU load even further, and I've actually made a list here. This is kind of what I would like to get done before my performance on Saturday. So things like with the CPU load, a lot of the effects like the cutoff filters, they can actually be turned off completely when they're at their maximum or minimum value. Because they're processing audio, they probably use up CPU. I want to tidy up all the dummy clips and put them into racks, and when the non-dummy clip is playing, I want that rack to turn off, so all the devices are actually turned off. Yeah, and even considering that when I start a new track, as I move from track 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, when I start track 2, all of the operators and all of the synths that are creating the sounds of track 1 turn themselves off as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be helpful or not, but we'll do some testing and whatnot. Yeah, so that's it. So I'm streaming YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook here. What's up? Christian, Michael, Ariel, Reiki on Facebook. What's up, everyone on Twitch? Lots of music, K37, Bart, Smooth Funk, Shane, and Dark over on YouTube, and all the other people watching who are currently not saying everything. But yeah, look, as I said, after a couple of days of reflection, if you like, I was happy. I learnt a lot in that hour that I was playing music up there. Like I just went for it anyway, and now I know what to do to prevent that from happening in the future. I can't guarantee that the next performance will have no problems, but we can at least address the ones that we had initially. And of course, if you guys have any questions or comments on the stream, or advice or criticisms, you just want to say hello or fuck you, just let me know. I'm reading all the chats from everywhere. What's up, Ricky? Yo, dude. Bishop, you've taught me so much with building a Techno Set series. Thank you, Tom. Much love to you too, bro. That's absolutely fun. So I might get started and work on that list. It's quite late at night here. It's 1 in the morning. So I want to do a couple of hours at least, and then I want to get up tomorrow and stream all day pretty much and do a marathon. So yeah, version control. Well, if we have a look at my list here, the very first thing I have here is version control. A number of people have mentioned it in the video that I posted, and it's quite difficult, you know. I've been writing music on a computer for 15 years, and you know, you start by saving things as like, I mean, look at this one, World Beyond 2017 5B. I mean, that's not good versioning. Version control, if you're not familiar, is naming things appropriately, especially when you're working on them, when you make additions, when you're happy with something, saving new versions all the time. So if something goes wrong, you can just go back to the last step and either rebuild it or fix it or whatever. So I'm going to be using version control in this, but yeah, with 15 years of saving shit like Final Render 2, Final Render 3, definitely Final Render 4, absolutely fucking Final Render 17. You kind of do that as a producer really quickly when you're producing, when you remember to save. And it's quite a hard habit to break, version control. I know it's like a matter of 1 or 2 seconds of actually stopping and thinking and typing a number, but all of those years of saving badly has made me not very good at doing versioning. So I'm going to try my best, and let's do that as the very first thing we do. So at the moment it's called World Beyond 2017 5B. So obviously when I was trying to problem solve madly before my set, I was giving things names. This one here now says Techno Automator 1.0.1a rollback. So this is almost... Thank you for the follow, Bishop Evans, much appreciated. This is pretty much the format that I follow. I forget what the name of it is, but a number dot a number dot a number. So 1 being a major version, 2 being a minor version, and 3 being a small change. That's kind of how I work when I write music for video games or companies, which a bunch of you probably don't actually know, but because I don't attach my name to it, but I write a lot of music for film and games and stuff. I always do version control, and I always do the last decimal place is when I make a change and hit save, and then when the person who has employed me or whatever has listened to it and given feedback, I update the middle number. And then first number, the major version doesn't usually change. So with the Techno Automator, I kind of tried to do that, but I'm going to do the version control thing now. It's going to be a pretty chill stream. It's going to be quite procedural. It's going to be quite tidy stuff. So there's not going to be too much exciting sound design, I think, in this one here. Yeah, GitHub was a thought. Like, I'm familiar with Git and GitHub and how it works. And I have used it in some previous projects which weren't Ableton or Max for Live related, but I've decided that I don't think it's necessary for this particular project. I just have to use my head, and you guys, if you see me saving bad file names, let me know and we'll fix it up. Yeah. So anyway, so let's start off with the version control. So at the moment, this is not good. So what I'm going to do is go save live set as. It's no longer the World Beyond project, so I'm going to go back to my sets folder. It's a new computer, so there's nothing in here at the moment. And we'll call the new folder, actually, yeah, we'll call this the Techno, we'll call it the Techno Machine. That sounds cool. So I'm going to go Techno Machine, open it up, and I'm going to save this. I'm going to start from scratch here. I'm going to go Techno Machine, and I'm going to go 1.0. 0. And every time that I save from this point onwards during the stream, I'm going to update this decimal place number, and I'm going to put a keyword of what I changed afterwards as well. So let's just save that now, like so. The audio might glitch out here. I do like GitHub. I think it's amazing. I really did consider it. I just didn't think it would be appropriate for something of this magnitude, especially when there's just me working on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go collect all and save. So that gathers all the files that are outside of that folder I just specified and gathers them into the folder, so they're all there. So it's going to stop the audio. So sorry, there goes the ambient. So it's just copying the Max for Live stuff and all that. Carry on. Very good. So that's what I've done with that. I'm going to open up this Techno Automator. I'll get the ambient happening again. If you're interested, a lot of people have been asking me about this. The ambient is called Recess, and it is a 1 hour ambient set that I created and put on SoundCloud for free download. The way I made it, which is everyone's question, is I basically took a live set from a dance floor, like a pumping live set, like a real dance floor one, and I just used lots of granular shifting and reverb and EQing, and then more reverb and then more reverb, and it turned into an ambient set. So it's actually, I don't even know what set it is. It's exactly a set from a party where I'm playing to a big dance floor, but fed through all this crap. So anyway, we'll get that playing again from the start. So now Max for Live is open, Automator. This is interesting. The Max console is trying to open the launch control MIDI ports. This is what I was thinking during the party. I was like, this could have something to do with it. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, let me just unfreeze it and freeze it. As far as the audio I write for games and film, I'm not gonna tell you. Sorry. The games that I have worked on, that I have put my name to, are for, I guess the main one would be for Ubisoft, for the Just Dance series of video games. Last year I made things like menu music, pause music, recap music, at the end of the level, that kind of thing. Let me just turn this down a bit. And then this year, the game hasn't been released, Just Dance 2018, but it's coming out in October, I believe. This year they asked me to write quite a lot more, so it's like the main theme of the actual game. I'm not going to say the other things I did because I have a huge contract which includes NDAs, and I might give away features of the games that aren't announced yet, but things like that. But yeah, I do musical ghostwriting, if you like. I know there's just some things I don't feel the need to attach the Tom Cosm name to. Tom Cosm is me. I'm a teacher. I play silly music. I do weird things. If I do serious things, it's just a nice anonymous way to generate income. So this is now ready to save as. So I'm going to save this as. It's asking me to save it in Max MIDI effects. I am going to save it in the Max MIDI effects, but I'm going to call this 1.0.0 like that. I'll call it After Crash. So that's the kind of naming that I'll be doing. Yeah, well, the thing with Just Dance is the music that they wanted me to write was very similar to my style already, which is really cool. So when they approached me, the reference tracks they gave me were actually my own music, which is really funny. So they're like, we like this track of yours. Can you write a track which is pretty much identical but different? So that was kind of cool. So I don't mind having Tom Cosm in the credits for that. And it's also the demographic, I think, for Just Dance. I don't actually know this for a fact, but I imagine the Just Dance series of video games is more aimed towards kind of teenagers and kids and adults that like to drink wine by themselves and dance around in their living room. I don't know. So not many people know about it. I guess now you do. So I've saved that, that's good. What I'm going to do is unfreeze it, because I've got sub patches inside of this. So if I open up my P automated patch, you can see everything moving here. I'm going to unlock this, and what I've been doing is, this is just called automated function 1, so I don't consider that to be acceptable, so I'm going to save that as, and this is in Max for Live Techno Automator after crash patches. I'm going to call this Automator, I'll call it automated function again, 1.0.0 after crash. I know this is kind of boring for you guys, but this is good habit for me to make. I'll get quicker as I do it. So that's all done, very good. As far as sub patches go, I think that's done. I will need to save this one again. So actually what I will do is now I will save this as, after I freeze it. Oh man, don't get me started about kick1.wave. I've probably got 100 kick1.waves on my hard drive somewhere. So now that I've saved that, because I made a change, which was the automated function, I'm actually going to call this Techno Automator 1.0.1, and I'm going to say sub patch name update. So I know that's simple, probably unnecessary that one, but I'm trying to get into the habit, so I might do it unnecessarily a bit now and then. So that's all good, I'll get rid of that. Let's just quickly look through the patch, because I did have a few other things. So I had this riser max patch, which kills the riser. So I nearly got it right there, I put 1.0, but I'm going to go save as, and we'll call this riser killer 1.0.0 after crash. Very good, now we can close that down. Nothing on the riser track. I had a lot of trouble with the morph track. I was trying to get my brainwaves morphing stuff, and when I was adding live remotes into that side of things, that's when it fucked up the other things, so I kind of want to leave that till last. The automator we did, I feel like there was one more Max for Live patch that we created. Riser 4. Maybe that is all of it. Oh, here we go, the Techno Set dummy trigger, which is really messy and I need to clean up. But anyway, let's go save as Techno Set dummy trigger .1.0.0 after crash. So again, I know it's pretty boring for you guys, but this is for me to get into the habit of saving things. So now we do version control, I need to save more often. So if you guys can remind me to save a lot, that'd be awesome. Okay, so I think that takes care of the version control and how I'm going to approach things. Let's have a look at our list here. Windows, I can draw, cool. Done. How do I save that? Leave without saving? No. Oh, we'll just leave it like that. So CPU load, let me just go through these. So the cutoff stuff, the automated name, we'll do that later. I don't think I'll do any of the drone brainwave stuff today, and I'm not sure I'll do sound design today. We'll do the mapping, the fix, and the automator. So next thing on the fixing is the CPU load. So as I said, I noticed a lot of problems with the CPU load. So I'm going to go through. Very first thing I'm going to do is open up my automator and have a look at it, because I basically saved it and then ran out the door, so I don't actually know how good it is. If it's a venue power issue though, what would you do to prevent that? That's kind of out of your hands. Well, for a start, I can get a bit more schooled on power. The USB 3 hub I'm using is not powered, because all I'm using it to control are the two launch pads, so I didn't think I needed external power for that. The push 2, I have external power, but that's going into its own USB hub on the MacBook. The push 2 power cable only has 2 prongs, it doesn't have a ground, so there was nothing apart from the computer plugged into my setup that had a ground apart from the computer. So I imagine if there's like spikes and things like that, maybe I need to invest in some kind of regulator or backup thing. I'll definitely be getting a USB 3 hub that has its own separate power supply. That could have been the issue. I imagine the power supply to the USB port on the computer got interrupted or got sent a glitch or got too much. I don't really know how power works very well, so I need to do a bit of research on that. But as I said, in the studio it works fine. I've stress tested it over and over before the stream. I've tried plugging in more devices. I mean, I obviously haven't tried like fucking with my mains power supply or anything because I don't really want to do that because it's all working, but yeah, it's all working fine here. And I mean, I'll be honest, the other thing at the venue, as I said, it was dark, it was chaotic, it was an apocalyptic future themed party. There were just lights everywhere in my face and flashing and people yelling and everyone was drunk and having a good time, and you know, I could have done something wrong. You know, that not turning up the day before to set up was probably my biggest issue, and that was caused by the unexpected failure of my MacBook. So that was just an unfortunate, well, no, it's not unfortunate, it's bad planning on my behalf. I didn't allow myself any extra days in case something bad happened. Okay, so I want to open this up and have a look, and because I might have made a little bit of a mess of it. So this is all looking exactly how it should. I'm going to open up the automator patch here, and that's kind of looking all how it should. It's not giving me the names, but that's okay because it should do that when it's in Ableton. So I'm going to stop this, and let's open up the actual function one. Okay, so now this is no longer automator function 1. It's not the new one I created. That's interesting. So what I'm going to try and do here is, sorry, I'm ignoring the Facebook messages. Yeah, trigger track, good on you. What's up, KU? What's the open clear thingy? This is what you're looking at now. Michael says, personally, I use OwnCloud, hosted on my own Linux machine, and on a laptop I put my set library into a folder. Sorry, Facebook chat isn't coming up like it usually does. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, I think the way that we're doing it now is probably going to be good. So what I noticed is when I saved that, it didn't update the B patcher to that function 1 thing. So I'm going to open up my info here. Let me make this smaller for you guys. So you can see here the B patcher file is still automator function 1. I wonder if I change it to automator function. Okay, this isn't. Where did it save that? That's interesting. I'm just going to try an experiment here. Let's open the original. Let's just say, okay, so this is inside the patches folder. Max for live devices, Techno Automator 1 sub patch. Interesting. I'm not familiar with this file structure, so I'm just getting my head around it. So there should be a patches folder inside there. There's audio effects. It's not in here. MIDI effects. Max MIDI effects. It should be in here. That's it, right? How do I get the full path? Down? Users Tom documents Ableton user library presets. So this one is users documents Ableton user library presets. So where is that automator function 1 patch, I wonder? Maybe it's actually in the, if I go documents, tunes, sets, Techno Machine, presets. It's not there. It's not there. Maybe it's in the, because I freeze the main patcher file, it means the actual patcher is saved within it. So that's a little interesting bit of a setback. Let's go into the World Beyond set and go max So here's automator function 1 here. Let's go, we'll be on project, presets, MIDI effects, no. Audio effects, max audio effects. Okay, I'm gonna think about that offline. So what's happening is when I actually freeze the automator patch, it's taking the function 1 patch and embedding it into the actual main patch. It's not actually referencing that patch as an external file, it's embedding it into it. And I actually need that to happen because I need to freeze the set in order for the live remotes to update. So I'm going to have to think about an alternative on how to do that. But that's all good. We'll just keep working on the automator function 1 patch without version control, which goes against everything I just said, but I'm going to have to look into that a bit more. Okay, so you can see it's all a bit of a mess from maybe what you're familiar with. I can bring this all the way down here for a start, like so. That all works. The clear all clears. It clears the function box. It sends the patch argument 3. Thank you for the follow, Sammy P Stump, over on Twitch. Much appreciated. This looks all good. So this bangs, sends the path, and then sends the default value, which is the argument. This is the get name thing. What I'm going to do with the get name thing is I've decided on the night I found it really annoying to have it, if we go into edit mode, have the name of the thing here. I don't know why, I just found it quite annoying. What I actually want to do is instead of putting the name of what parameter that is into a comment box, I'm going to put into a message box. I'm going to do a prepend set. So it's going to bang the name out. I need to route name first as well. Oh, actually what I can do is it says name. So I can go route name. So the name's going to come out. It's going to remove the name. And then I can create a comment box. And then I can put a prepend set. This is just going to make it look a lot cooler as well. So what this is going to do is send it to a comment box, and that means we can kind of style a comment box how we like. So that should be all okay. So I'm going to add that to the presentation. Rakuni over on Twitch, thanks for the streams. My peers started to look funny at me when I told them I only work on my EDM template file. Well, I'm glad. It seems like a lot of people are building their own templates from this, and that makes me really happy, because that's the whole point of this. Like, real live music is fun, man. Like, you can get up there and push play on a premix file and showcase your music with your laptop, and everybody enjoys it because it's studio produced, and that's awesome, and I don't have any problem with that. That's a cool showcase. But actual live music it's like playing the best video game in the world, and I just want more people to experience that. I just want as many people as they can to know how much fun it is once you actually get it there. So I'm glad this is inspiring people to make their own. So that comes in, routes the name, prepend set, and then sends to the comment box, which is added to the presentation. So in this comment box, I'm just going to put sample text for now. Remind me to remove that. And now if we bring this up into the actual patcher, what I'm going to do is open up the info panel. I'm going to make the text color, I'll make it a really light gray. I will center it here. I'll make it really big. Maybe not that big. That big might be good enough. I'm going to drag the comment box so it's overlaying the function, like so. That text is too big. I'll make it 48 sounds good. So it's going to actually show me the name of the parameter in the actual function within itself. And I'm kind of doing that in preparation for version 2, where I want to have a drop-down menu here where I can select presets of like ramps or sine waves or different types of automation. But that's going to come much later. So I want to kind of have a space here saved for that. The sample text, maybe let's make it a darker grey. That's too dark. That's too light. So let's play color game. I think that's good for me. It's kind of the same color as the grid. Maybe we don't want that. Maybe we want it black. No, we don't, because it's overlaying. What we can do is we could make it black and maybe change the opacity to 30%. We can make it white, bring the opacity down. So by bringing the opacity down, it just means when I do actually add in grid points, such as like this, you can see that it kind of goes through the text itself. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let me just clear it. That looks good to me. Let's save that now. Might as well test this, so I'm going to close this down. So this is interesting. These... Oh no, they have updated. My apologies. Oh yeah, the birds. So the thing with the recess set is I sampled the birds that live in our loquat tree out the back. And I also I added a bit of birds and a little bit of piano as well to make it a bit more ambient. And I didn't really check the levels of the birds before I rendered, so sometimes they're a bit crazy. Smooth funk. You're onto it. You know what I'm up to. Okay, so that's looking all good. So what I'm going to do now is close this down. And I'm going to go freeze. And I'm going to go save as. And I'm going to call this 1.0.2. And we'll just change it to function name big. There we go. That'll do. Let's close this down and open it up. And now you can see that we now have the name of the parameter in each of these for the bass, the synth, the snare, the hats. I like that a lot better. I think it looks cooler and it's a lot more in my face. Like I came into some problems when I was trying to use it on the night, for example, over on the snare. I was trying to get some reverb happening. I'm like, oh, it's not working. And then I realized I was messing with the delay wet and the delay feedback, not the actual reverb wet and the reverb feedback. So I just want that a bit bigger for me. So that's good. Okay, let's open it up again and do some more tidying. Yeah, I think it looks cool. I think the general default kind of look is cool. Maybe these big bright buttons could do with an overhaul. But let's open up this automated patch again, unlock it. And let's open the automated function. So, what else do I need to tidy up here? Let's have a look. That's looking all good. That's an unnecessary message box. This looks all fine to me. See, it looks totally like it should have run perfectly on the day. Again, perhaps I was just nervous or I was like really stressed and I just had a brain fart and didn't use it properly, but it was kind of scary to use as well. Like when you're playing music and everyone's dancing and it's working, kind of opening up this machine and then starting to randomly put it in effects, it's kind of quite daunting. It's like, oh no, what if it sounds bad? So I probably held back quite a bit on using it. I probably could have got it working during the live set if I had a little bit more bravery in me. maybe I don't know. What I noticed was that in a previous version, in these little sub patches, we set a default value for the accum, but it still didn't set the grid points to that value. So I do actually need to throw alive this device in here. I believe by just banging the accum, it should change the grid points. So this is so that all the grid points are quite smaller by default. I'm just going to copy that. We can close that down. That's for the X value, and this is for the Y value. So let's go ahead and paste that in and do exactly the same, like so. Let me just do one more quick look here. We might as well just tidy this up. This doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be a bang and a list with the list going to the function. Just cross-checking everything here. There was a suggestion on how I could consolidate this, but I will look into that another time. I'm pretty sure there's an easier way that I can do this with less objects, but it does run pretty well. Yeah, I think that looks okay. So let's give it a test. So again, I'm breaking my rule here, but I'm just going to save that automated function 1 like so. Close it down. I'm going to close this down. Actually, let's open it up again. We have to wait till we freeze it and save it. So let's freeze it. And we'll go save as. See, I'm getting faster now. Save as 103. Bang grid size. Or sizes. That'll do. Sizes. Okay, so let's close this down now and go into Ableton. If I open this up. So the grid size still isn't what I want. You see how the grid size is too small? Like I want it to be like kind of this resolution maybe here. So I've got like 4 points up, maybe even 4 points up and 8 points across. So I've done something wrong there. I want to fix this as we go because it's on my mind. So let's open this up again. Unfreeze it. Load mesh might have been the wrong thing, or it obviously was. Open up the automator, unlock it, and let's open up this patcher. So in the sub patch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a load mesh. I'm going to get rid of the Accum 16, and I'm going to go load mesh 16. So that means when this patch is loaded, it's going to send the value of 16 to the Accum. So hopefully that should work. Let me just copy that and close that down. And then we need to do the same for the Y. We want that to be on 4. So we'll get rid of the live device. Do a load mesh, change that to 4. Chuck that in here. And we can get rid of the actual 4 in the Accum. If you're not familiar, Accum just stores a number, and as you input more numbers, it just accumulates and adds to what is currently stored in the object. So we're using that to change the grid sizes. So now that's done, save, close. Video series that I recommend for learning how to use Macs. Yeah, we covered this previously. There's a guy, I'm not going to look him up. Oh, actually, I'll look him up on my other computer. Hold on. He is called Dude837. So if you go like Dude837 Max MSP in YouTube or Google, you'll find his channel. As far as I'm concerned, he's been the best video tutorials I've seen on Macs for Live. He's got a really good character. He adds really interesting, funny little niches to his videos to make them more interesting, because it's quite a boring thing to teach. So yeah, he's really good at keeping you entertained and keeping you excited. So I recommend him. I recommend the live manual as well always. The live manual is a really good, well-written manual. So let's freeze this now. Save it as. So this is 1.0.4. And we're going to go grid size adjust. That'll do. See how good I'm being? It's like a real computer programmer. And let's close that down now, and let's hope that that works. Nope, it does not work. So what am I doing wrong here? Obviously doing something wrong. I'm pretty sure I had it in the last version, which is what pisses me off the most. Maybe I need to, yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do is, instead of the load mesh 16 in the sub patcher, I will put the load, I'll do a load, I'll do a live.this device, which sends out a bang. I want it to bang the number 16, so we should do this properly. We'll put a trigger with 2 bangs, so it splits the bang 2 ways. So I want it to bang the value 16. No, that's not going to work either because that's going to fuck up our buttons. Okay, hold on. Oh, where's the load mess? Well, what I could do is just simply go... I'll go live this device. I'll bang the 4 into the accum. Maybe that'll work. So that was the Y. What was wrong with the X? There was no load mess at all. So, sorry, live this device. So we'll do a live this device in there as well. Like so. Maybe that'll work. Let's try it. Save. Yeah, check him out. Also, another thing that's really handy in Ableton, in Max, is if you alt-click on something, like if I alt-click on plug sync, it opens up a demo of what that object does. You know, it tells you what it does. It shows you all of the things that it does. It also has this little question mark, which is really handy, which shows you things that are similar to that device. This one doesn't have many, so here's plug phaser. Okay, that's not a good example. Let's just say I put in an object like slider. So here's a slider. Alt click it. Here's all the things a slider can do. Here's some different things to do with the mousing. It gives you examples you can play with. You can change the appearance. But then if you click on the question mark, here's some other objects that maybe you were looking for instead. So maybe you were actually looking for a dial, which is something like this. Or maybe you wanted a multi-slider, which is like this, which allows you to put multiple sliders into one slider list. So a lot of the times when you are not sure if there's an object that does a particular thing, I find it handy to try and find the closest thing to it and then use that question mark. Okay, so let's freeze that. We'll go save as. We'll go 5. Grid adjust again, that'll do. Let me just click open here, see what happens. Yeah, why isn't this working? Sorry about this, guys. This is just me trying to figure shit out, I guess. Automator. Okay, what I might do is I might introduce another inlet here that bangs 16. That goes out the outlet as well. So the accum's not actually doing anything until it receives the up and down values. So I think what I actually need to do I think I need to send it a live device. I think we need to do a trigger bang in an integer. And I think we need the integer to be what was this one? 16? No, I've forgotten what it was. Hold on. It's Control Z. Oh, it was 16 obviously, sorry, my bad. Let's go forward. Redo, Control Y. Okay. So we want it to bang put that over here. So I want to send... No, we need 2 bangs. My bad. This is what I think. We need to send 1 bang to the 16. Let me just open up the help file for the Accum. So it sets and outputs the number when you send it a number. Add to current number, multiply to current number. That's weird. Let's do a test. Accum 4. Here's a bang, here's a message box. Let's see what happens when we bang this inlet here. It says 4. Okay, very good. Let's delete the contents of the message box. Let's put a message of 16. Put it in here. 16. Okay, so that works. I think I need to do it outside of the subpatcher level. So let's close that down. Yeah, let's do it this way. We'll go 16 and we'll bang that into the grid step. It's not going to update the up and down arrows for now, but at least we'll be able to see if it works. And I want this to be 4. Well, I mean, actually, if I do it here and just save it, shouldn't that work? Let me just make this smaller. Let's have a look here. So that's 16 across and 4 up. I think that's a good number. So that's 64 and 32. Let me go into my info box here. Show attribute names. Horizontal grid step. If I click on that and click freeze, that should work. And the vertical grid step, if I click on that and click freeze, maybe that'll work, and I don't even need this. So that's frozen those attributes. That means that they should in theory be the default values. Let me just open up these patches quickly. They're all good. I don't need that live disk device. Okay, let's save this. See what happens. Okay, so now we can see in the actual patch here that it's gone to the grid size I want. So that's all I needed to do, was go into the inspector and freeze those attributes. I'm interested to know what happens if I go up or down now. It's probably not... Yeah, it's totally screwed that up. Okay, back to square one. So maybe the freezing thing isn't a good idea. Again, I do apologize for me problem solving on a live stream, but let's not make that frozen. Let's not make that frozen. Let's go back to the original plan of having a live.this device to a trigger and a bang and a bang. So we'll bang 16 and we'll bang 4. Actually, we can get rid of these message boxes. We can just go trigger 16 and 4. It should just send those numbers out of these outlets. So that'll send 16. And that'll send 4. Let me change these anyway. Horizontal 16. No. 4. Or is this one 4? That's ridiculous. So now this is completely not working. How's everyone doing there? So this grid step is set to 0. That's not what I want. I want that to be 16. No, I want that to be 8. No, I want it to be 32. I want that to be 32. Do I want this to be 32? 16? 32? Maybe just saving it like that would work. I'm just going to disconnect this device while I save this. Close that down. Okay, so that looks good. Let's go into presentation mode. So that's kind of what I want. Now the up and down values are screwed, so I'm going to have to fix that. I don't know what I did, but I've done something to screw that up. I think I need to set the accum to default. What did I have? 32 and 32. Alright, let's try accum 32. And for this one, accum 32. I'm pretty sure that's how you set the initial value. Let me double check. Accum 0, yeah. So if I bang it up with 0, yep. Okay. Let's try that. Oh, this is taking a lot longer than I thought. Sorry, guys. Kind of really wanted to power through this. Okay, so that looks good. Presentation mode, lock. Up, up, up. Down, down, down. Okay, we've got it. That is how I want it. Very good. So let's close the automator. Let's freeze this. Go save as 1.0.6. Grid. What do we change then? Grid. Defaults. I'm not too worried about the naming. It's the numbers that are important. Now we can close this down. Cross your fingers. Very good. So that means the grid size is now nice and small. I've got 16 things to move across, and I've got 4 to up and down. So this is 50%. Let's play with it. Let's do the clear thing. See if we'll... Yeah, that worked. Let's play with it. Let's stop the ambient just for a second. We'll jump over to one of the techno tracks. So yeah, now the push is like all working completely, which is really interesting. You know, I can trigger all my clips and stuff. So I had lots of intros. How's that for levels? Can you guys still hear me talking with that playing? So you can kind of see how each scene I progressed it through so that I could kind of mix into the next track. Let's try another one. Try this one here. Yeah, I quite like this one. Just reset these knobs. So that's the high pass filter. So let's open up the automator now and have a play. The dummy things are all working fine. One thing I did notice when I was playing is sometimes the dummy shit is too extreme. Like it's too much. So I think I might put the dummy tracks inside rack so I can have an extra dry wet knob. Because just before a drop, these dummy clips are cool. But if I just did little fills now and then, sometimes it was a bit too much. And all my build-up stuff wasn't working either, which was really weird. So I wasn't able to do these cool build-ups and fallers, which is disappointing, but reverb and cut-off shit saved my life with that. Anyway, Wait, let's bring everything up. Get rid of the reverb. Make sure all the low pass and high passes are down. Okay, here's the automator. Let's open it up and play with it. Corpus wet. It's just on one bar. Too much. Corpus resonance. Make this 16 bars long. This is being strange. This beat repeat chance isn't moving all the way across the grid. Everything else seems to be. Not this one. That's weird. So some of them aren't moving all the way across the grid. Anyway, let's just keep playing around anyway. Relative Minor cheered ×5 on Twitch. I have no idea what that means. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. I really appreciate what you just did, but I have no idea what that means. What is the cheer? Can someone tell me in the chat what that means? The automator does have an individual tab for each instrument here. So we can do it to everything. We can do it to the snare. I'm curious about why when I pick one bar, it's not doing one bar. Like this one it is, this one it isn't. There's no difference between these two objects, so it's an interesting problem. If the automation line ends midway, then it just stays on that particular setting. Let me just clear everything and open it up again. Let's just pick a different track. And I'll just get something playing. Like this. So this is synth 2. So these need to be... Let's try them all on one. This is weird. I'm not sure why this is doing this. So that's doing 2 bars, okay. This is doing 1 bar, okay. It's weird. It's like some of them are only like going, the cursor is only going halfway across. I'm curious to know if it's just the cursor or the actual function itself. So let's do a test. Yeah, it's only going like half the way across. Anyway, to answer your question, let's go reverb decay heaps, and let's say go reverb wet just up to here and stop. Continues until it gets another point. And I also believe it does it in the opposite way around as well, so... That's going to jump back up to whatever's before it, so it compensates for what should be there. I mean, this is the control I wanted when I was playing. I mean, these effects really make this unique, you know. So and you know, combined with the So now we've got this interesting problem of why some of these aren't working properly. Let's clear them all. Play a different track. What's up, RGNI? What happened to what? Yeah, I answered that. What's up from Turkey? How you doing? I think it might be useful to have a slightly brighter line in the grid at every 25% or so. Unfortunately, that's not possible from within the function object itself. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy for me to go up and down like that. You know, I can make it quite big and small myself. Having them brighter actually might be a good idea. We'll make them bright. I can't do them individually, but I can make the grids brighter. So let's go ahead and do that. And what's up, Smooth Funk? Okay, let's unfreeze it. Let's go in here. I think that's a good suggestion. So let's have a look at it here. We just simply need to click on it. So we've got the background color. I might actually make the background color black. We've got the line color, which is blue. I might make it more extreme, maybe make it a green. The grid color, I could make it... I need to draw some shit in so we can actually see it. Let's go down here for a sec. That looks cool. The grid color, we can make it completely white because it's a bit more obvious. We can make it less grey. I quite like blue actually. Yeah, the black looks good. I'm a big fan of the blue and the green, maybe purple. Reminds me of that Ninja Turtle for some reason. I like blue, black, and grey. Okay, so that's good for that. Let me just clear that. And so why is this cursor being strange? So sometimes it's not sending the right values. So it's almost like we need... It's probably going to take me a little while again, so let's go back to max. I'll stop this and we'll get some ambient going again, because I really want to figure this out. I've been streaming for an hour and 20, but... Stop all the clips. Start it from around here. Okay, back to max. Turn up a little bit. Yeah, Neandra3, how you doing? I'm gonna do it at home this Saturday. So there's a live event. You can't see it on Twitch, but it's on my Facebook page and it's on my YouTube page. I've set up it. You don't have to like go to the event, but anyway, 12 p.m. AEST, Australian Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, Australia. I'm going to do that at home. And then we'll probably find some more problems and we'll keep working on it, and we'll just keep going until I got the best Techno set ever. That's the plan. So I don't need these anymore. I really want to figure out what is happening with this weird bar thing. So let's do a little bit of behavior testing here. Let's save it and see what the colors look like first altogether. What's up, Quicksilver Sting? How you doing? Glad you're impressed with the footage. Yeah, a few setbacks, but that's part of it. Oops. I don't know if that looks awesome now. I like the black. That's kind of cool. I don't know, what do you reckon? Do you reckon the blue is too much? I think I like the black and the green, and maybe we'll stick to grey for the grids. I don't really want to get into the UI design at this stage, but that's going to bug me. You guys got any thoughts? I might jump back to grey for now. I kind of liked it. Maybe a little bit brighter than normal grey. Maybe just white. You especially like the blue? Pink and yellow? What about yellow on white? That'd be really helpful. Maybe we could choose like a really light kind of a blue. Like, I'm not very good with colours. That kind of grey blue type look, maybe. Let's have a look at our colour wheel here. I don't want to get too lost in this. We'll go half grey, half blue. How's that? And I might change the sample text opacity up a little bit if we're doing this. Let's try that. Save. Mixed feelings. I quite like that. I know it's kind of looks like a spreadsheet, but like it's in a live situation when I'm like all the shit's going on in my head. That to me is quite straightforward and like really easy to understand. I like the green. Yeah, I'll keep it there for now. As I said, I don't want to focus on the GUI. So let's have a look here. Each one of these tabs, it's doing the right number of beats. So this is open in max at the moment. This isn't open in live. So we're not getting that cursor issue. So let me try putting these on 2 bars. So that's all working. They are out of sync by a bar, but that's okay. I want it like that. So let's put this all back to 1. Maybe I need to send a default 1 message to that, or maybe it's just the as it loads 64 of them, maybe it's doing it in a series or a process that's like really fast and it just skips a couple or something. I don't know. Anyway, we'll close that down. Where's our main patch? If you're just joining us, Tom is learning version control properly. Color, change, grid. So let's save that. Oh, I needed to freeze that and save that. So we'll go freeze. Freeze, presentation. We'll save. Black background, grey grid, and line should be pure white. You reckon? I like the green. You know, green signifies go, progressive movement. We'll see. We'll do UI design later in the stage. Like that's UI, yeah, or just the interface color scheme and everything later. So now let's see what happens when I open this up. So this is on 16. This is on 2. This is on 1, 4, 4, 1. Pretty sure these were all 1 when I saved it. Let's change this to 1. Okay, so that all matches up. 1, 1. I mean, this doesn't really bother me if I have to change this every time. See, now this one's doing the problem. So it seems to be happening intermittently to not the same parameter every time. And to me, that tells me that it's some kind of weird process thing. That's probably something I'm going to have to look up in my spare time and do some research on. It didn't appear to be doing that before. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break and grab some water and have a quick think about that. If I can't come up with a solution, then we'll just move ahead, because I think this is gonna require a bit of googling, because I'm not sure how I can load all of those patches. I'm not even sure if that's the problem. Anyway, I'll be back in about 2 minutes, guys. Hang in there. Okay, we're back. You may be wondering why I have a launch pad here. I was gonna test that with the USB hub to see if adding any more devices will do the same freakout thing. And I thought I really want to have buttons that I can jump to specific parts of the set. So I could jump to track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, track 5, or the synth of the bass line on track 1, you know, something like that. I thought I've got a couple sitting around, and if the USB can handle it, then I might as well use them as buttons, because I don't really want to touch my computer that much. Back in the chat, maybe the other tabs are affecting the current tabs somehow. Yeah, it's a good point. We'll have a look at that. Glad you like the Be Right Back. You want more Be Right Back music? I was trying to find some music that, you know, wouldn't get me flagged on YouTube as copyright infringement and wasn't my own music, so I was just like, hey, I'll just load up like some shitty jazz standard into Ableton and put my own devices onto it. Okay, well let's try one or two things quickly. I'll give it 10 minutes, and if we can't figure this out, then I'll push ahead and do some research myself on it. So let me just think. That's moving across. That function is definitely 124, but it's only moving across to 512. It's considering that. So it's something wrong with the line input. So let's open up our automator. See how it's all perfect here, but in Ableton, it's not. So once it's been frozen, it's not perfect. Okay, let's try a simple test. While this is locked and frozen, let's go 16.1, 16.1, 16.1. So I'm just kind of giving it a jolt. And I'm going to have to do this on all 8. I do apologize. This would usually be where I made a funny joke, but it's too late and I don't have any. So maybe you guys could tell me a funny joke. I also really like puns. My girlfriend Chelsea, she came in on one of the streams and gave me a hug. And I forget who it was, but they said, what do producers say when they see something cute? Door. It's dumb as fuck, but I thought that was really funny. So again, I'm just kind of like resetting these, giving them a jolt before I freeze it to say that I definitely want it to be on 1 bar when it's frozen. If this doesn't work, I've practiced clicking my index finger 128 times, so at least it's not for nothing. Come on, where's these jokes at? I'm open to anything. I'm open to anything, but the rest of the people watching might not be, so take that into consideration. And even if it is a highly offensive joke that I find funny, I'll probably not laugh. Okay, so I've done that. Let's close that down. Let's freeze that. We'll go save as. We got 8. We'll call this, what do we do? Line reset test 1. How many South Americans does it take to change a light bulb? A Brazilian. Perfect. You set me up for something that might have been culturally insensitive, but it was a great pun. I love it. 2 parts to it. Totally got me. Here's another one. A man walks into a zoo. There was only one animal. It was a Shih Tzu. Again, double whammy. That's the kind of shit I want. Nice family-friendly stuff. Yeah, I do like those jokes that No, it's doing it again. Those jokes that make you think it's going to be a racist joke or something like that, and then it turns out to be friendly. Well, no, I don't know if I like them, but I like things that catch me in that way. So even changing this still affects the rate in which it moves. So 1, it only goes to halfway. Does it only go to halfway? Let's figure that out first. Up. So there's the halfway point. Doesn't even look like it's making it to halfway. But these aren't really making it to the end either. Okay. Let's try playing around with the line object instead. First row right, corrupts decay. Is that a typo? It is a typo indeed, if that's what it says. It is gathering the name from the actual macro, so I'll have to change it. First row right. Aha! Yeah, you're totally right. It's not letting me rename these because they're controlled by the actual automated device. I'm just going to leave that how it is. I know what that means. I'll figure out a way to fix it later. Why don't some couples go to the gym? Because some relationships don't work out. And that's almost as safe as you can get. It's good. It's good. I like it. It's my favorite bland joke. I think it's... What's green and smells like red paint? green paint. I always thought that was a really good one. Or some kind of variation of that. Okay, let's have a look in here. Yeah, fuck it. Corpus is now what was it? Corrupts. Sounds cooler anyway. I'm making the call. Okay. Let's have a look at our patch here. So what's going to be happening here is the millisecond amount getting sent into this combine is going to be wrong. Or the global tempo receive is going to be wrong. But because it seemed to be going at half speed, I don't think it's a problem with the global tempo, because if it wasn't receiving the global tempo, which is 130, it's not going to send it 100. It's not going to send it 65. It's going to send it 0 or nothing or null. So that doesn't make me think it's anything wrong with this receiving the right tempo. This is basic maths, so this shouldn't be any problem. Oh, look, we got heaps of jokes now. The garden was fully blossomed thanks to Tom Cosm. Don't quite know if I get that one. Let me think about it for a minute. You might have to explain that to me. Why do producers put pepper on their keyboards? I don't know, PumaSpec. Why do producers put pepper on their keyboards? To get a hotter sound. Ooh, we're starting to cross the line here. Starting to cross the line. Probably you could throw a rack in front of it, change the name and delete the rack. I could do that. I could probably just change it now while the Max object is open. Or not. Anyway, that's a minor issue. I'm gonna keep on track with trying to figure this one out. What was the suggestion? Smooth Funk. Yeah, they are all exactly the same option. So by changing the tab, when I changed the tab, it was still playing it at half time. So it's making me wonder. It's almost like everything here gets shifted by accident. Let's okay, let's try this. Let's go receive global tempo bang. Or we'll just go global init bang for now. And what I'll do is I will... It's the global tempo. The global tempo is set on change. That's interesting. I've added a change in there. So I wonder if that has something to do with the issue. Anyway, I'll set up what I was going to do here, and then I'll try changing the BPM and see if that fixes the problem. That could be a problem. The change could be locked onto something. So the global init bang, I want it to bang the output of whatever the global tempo is, which is here. Or what we could do is we could put a message box here. We could say receive global tempo goes into here, and we could put the global init bang here and have that bang into the trigger bang F. That way, let's save that. See, everything looks good in Max, it's just when I open in Ableton, it does a weird thing. So, let's close that down. Let's open up the main parent patch. Let's add one more button here. I'll just put a message box for now. I'll just put a bang for testing purposes. We'll send global init bang. So just to see, like, maybe some of those, when it's loading 64 instances, it's like screwing up somewhere. I'll add that to the presentation and we'll just chuck it. No, that's a dumb place. We'll just put it here. We'll freeze it. Yo, Tom, I heard rumors you're going to be at Oregon Eclipse. I am. Probably going to be there. This is going to be on the internet. I'm just going to say I'm going to be there. Yeah, I'm going to the States for 6 months and I will be at the Oregon Eclipse. I just put a thesaurus and when I got home all the pages were blank. I have no words to describe how angry I am. It was good, it was good. That was a good one. Alright, that's a good one to end on, I like it. Yeah man, if you see me there, come up and say hello. Like, I'm always open to people coming up who are, well, anyone. Tell me you said you were going to come up and see me on Twitch. You told me you said you were going to come and see me and I'll know who you are. Okay. So I've already frozen that. Okay, let's go save as... Whoops, I accidentally saved over line reset test 1. So there's a problem with the version controllers. If you don't do save as and do save, it saves over it. Let's close that down, see if this makes a difference. They're working. They're all working. Reverb wet is not working. So let's try this bang. Hopefully it doesn't crash everything. Now let's have a look. Okay, so that worked. No. See now these guys. Oh, they're on 4. It's weird how it's like some of them are defaulting to different numbered bars. So that works. 1. Okay, so I'm fairly confident now that it is just a matter of the fact that it's loading 64 instances of that subpatch at once, that some of the tempo is not getting updated properly, or perhaps it's that change object. Let me just change the tempo here to, let's say, 100. Let's open it up. Everything's working. Well, I found a temporary solution to the problem. I'm just gonna write that down. Sorry a minute. Need to find a pen. Here's my pen. Fuck it, I'll just use a computer. It's easier. Okay. So I found a temporary solution, and that gives me a lot more insight as to why that problem is happening. It's not the ideal solution, but I don't really understand like how Max loads all of the devices, like what order it does it in, like when it does it wait for like one to load and then load the next one. I don't actually know that, so I'll do some offline looking around, and in the next series I'll update you with my findings. But for now we have that button. So what I will do, just because I probably won't do this until after the performance this weekend, is I'll open up the patch, and for this global init bang, I wonder if it was a change thing. Okay, let me just freeze this now. I want to see if it was the tempo thing. We'll go 1.8.9 tempo test. So I'm going to have a look and see if it's doing that weirdness, but I'm not going to click the button. I'm going to change the tempo instead and see if that makes a difference, because that'll give me a much more clearer idea. So these are all on 1. So this one is doing a weirdness. Let's go to 120. And let's have a look back at the automator. Whoops. Where'd you go? Okay, that fixed it. Okay, that did fix it. So now I actually know what's wrong. It's that change device. So we might as well go ahead and fix it now. This is the fix up session anyway, so we might as well do it. Good problem solving. I'm happy with that. So I will actually keep that global initial bang there, just in case it does wig out when I'm performing. I'll make this button, I'll just call this init, like so. And we'll change that to, I don't know, green, no, blue. That's in presentation mode. I want this to be small, so I'm just going to go like this. No, that's still too big. Open. Clear. And init. Oh, I love snapping. Things that snap are so satisfying. Oh look, it kind of looks like a traffic light. In another dimension. Okay, so let's save that. And we'll save that as... I might save that as 1.1.0 now and say cursor speed issue fixed. Or maybe I should have said added initialize. Actually, I don't want to have to like change the tempo for that to reset, so let's actually open up the automator real quick. Oops, I added a line. I mean, that global bang, that init is probably the best solution. I think that is the best solution anyway. Like, that's the simplest way to get it back in sync again if I need to. Okay, so forget that. Let's close it down. Yep. Catch you later, man. Thanks for tuning in once again. Oh no. We'll just leave it like that for now. So let's have a look. Okay, that's done. Let's go 130. Excuse me. Yeah, so changing the tempo fixes the problem. So yeah, something's getting stuck in that change object. But it's good to have that init button just in case. Alright, now let's play with it properly now. So I'll stop the ambient track again. And let's play a track. Excuse me. Let's open up the automator. Thank you for the follow, Julian. Oh, nickname, I think. Yeah, it's really late, but I really wanted to get some of this done today and I got a bit tied up. I will be up tomorrow doing this all day as well. But I thought I'd get like the more boring stuff out of the way today and do sound design tomorrow. That's something a bit more busier. Doesn't happen often enough. Let's go to the percussion track. So low pass filter. Very good. High pass. And that's on 2, which is fine. And let's do some weird shit here. Let's bring this up. Go up, down, up, down, up, down. So I'd love to, again, in version 2, I want to be able to have presets that I can pick from a drop-down menu below the device. Let's make this 2 bars long. We'll make the feedback 50%. We'll make it really big. Ah, see, this is the problem I was saying before. This isn't... I thought this was reverb. This is delay. So let's bring this right up. We'll give that a curve, why not? And what we'll do is we'll make this one 8 bars long. And I'm just going to have this kind of going around the place. I might clear this. Let's bring this up to 25% for the whole thing. Get rid of that annoying sound. Oh, I love it. You can so easily change the sound of things. That's some reverb. So this kind of want. So that's a 4-bar loop. Or is it a 3-bar? Who cares? Let's do lots of flanger weirdness. Just having a bit of fun here. Let's try something else. Say every 4 bars. Bring the corpus right up. Oops. Still gotta get my head around some of these points. Two bars. Obviously the kick's not the best one to play with, but cool. Alright, I'm happy with that. We kind of made progress. We fixed that cursor issue, which I didn't even really know about. It wasn't completely on the list. But I would say that completes the Fix Up Automator, apart from the fact that this is annoying me, this little GUI factor here. This was unfrozen. This could be bad. Weird. Anyway, let's move these up, not too far, and just make them a little bit smaller. Like so. Freeze. Save as. I'm just going to call this 1.1.1. GUI fix. Let's just double check that again. Maybe 4 bars. I'm just having a bit of fun here because I'm kind of at a milestone. Cool. It's cool how the automation moves over to the next track as well. All right. Hey Tom, you probably known that. It's just a little mixing tip. It would be a good idea to always have a low pass filter on the reverb so it won't swallow the kick and the punch. That is totally true and something I do know, but I did not even consider to add into things. So thank you for the suggestion, Julian. So let's do that. I'll wait. Oh, we might as well do it for every instance of a reverb. We'll give it a small low cut. We'll just keep it on its default value. Anytime there's a reverb, we'll give it a low cut. Apart from the kick and the bass, because personally, I don't mind a bit of phase cancellation in the kick and the bass. Like if we're reverbing the kick and the bass, it's going to be in the middle of some weird build up, some big drop, and I don't really care if like there's a big bass kick reverb sound and there's all this weird phasing going on. So I'll turn that on while we're thinking of things. There's a lot of improvements I could do to the actual mixing of this as well. Turn that on. Oh no, we don't want that for the kick and the bass. There is a reverb there. No reverb. No. There is a reverb. And here is a reverb. Yeah, there's a few things in my little spreadsheet here that I want to cover. So one thing I noticed when I was playing was I was sending the snare track to the sidechain track, and of course when the kick was really pumping, it was actually sidechaining the snare as well, which is bad. And also like the send tracks, if I was doing some really weird delays, there's another reverb here actually. If I was doing some weird delays, then they would actually not get sidechained with the kick, which I kind of want. So anyway, now I've made changes to the reverbs. Let's go ahead and go save live set as. And now we can call this Techno Machine 1.0.1 reverb low cut. And save. So thanks for that suggestion, Julian. It is something I usually do that just totally overlooked in this session. Again, makes a tiny difference, but when it all amounts up, it probably makes a worthy enough difference. So yeah, I'm glad you're liking it. Hakan, Oguru, sorry if I pronounced it wrong. How about thinking of presets for drawings? Yeah, we discussed this earlier in the stream. That's going to come in version 2 for sure. So the preset, this area here is going to be a drop-down menu, and it's going to contain all your standards: ramps up, ramps down, up and down, down and up down, up down, different speeds. We're going to draw some sine waves, some square waves, some saw waves. We'll have all the regulars, and then I'll probably have a randomize button next to it as well. So depending on the grid points, it'll randomize the grids. I also can create a save function. So if I was to draw something that I really liked, and I was like, I want to keep that, I'd be able to save and give it a name, and it would be added to the drop-down menu. I know how to do that in my head, but that's going to actually take quite a bit of time programming in Max, and I kind of want to not do that for this version. So version 2, we're going to have presets, and we're going to have shapes and LFOs and things like that. So we will get there. So anyway, looking at our list, I'm going to say Fix Up Automator is done for now. The next thing on the list is CPU load. This stuff isn't going to take very long. But I am going to have a very short break. I will be back in 2 minutes. If you guys want to hang around, again, it's going to be pretty boring procedural shell stuff. So if you want sound design and banging techno, then it might not be for you. But if you're interested in me clicking around and typing shit, stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, we are back. So the next stuff I'm going to do is not going to require any music, so I'm just going to I'm just going to play some background music from my SoundCloud. I'm just going to pick an old set, like a really old one, let's say 2005. I'm not being egotistical, I just don't want any copyright flags when this video goes on YouTube and stuff, so it's a safe bet to play my own Creative Commons music. Let's try this one here.
You then reported shivering odd feelings in the stomach.
That's interesting. Huh. That made my levels go totally crazy. It's coming through as desktop audio. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to figure out why this is doing it. I'm in OBS. I have my computer feeding into the same sound card as my microphone, so it's all one level, but when I hit play on Chrome, it comes through on the desktop audio, which is interesting.
Some anxiousness and a sudden memory.
So I'll just turn this down. How does that sound to you guys? Let me skip ahead to some music. It's really old, dark shit, so...
Okay, we turn now to drum and bass.
Can you guys hear me good over that? Is that sounding okay? That's fascinating. Ah, I know why that's happening. So yeah, the audio from Chrome must be playing up my HDMI cable into my HDMI capture card, and the audio from Ableton is playing out of my output into my sound card. Cool, I'll keep it at that volume. It's really quiet. I'll bring it up a little bit. So yeah, I'll just play some backing music while I do that. While I do this, I need to turn it down on my headphones because it's confusing. This is from 2005, back when I used to work with a girl called Hannah Flatman, and we wrote pretty much just psytrance. And turn that right down. Okay, so the next thing on the list here is, let's have a look. So I want to reduce CPU load. As I said during my set, there wasn't an issue. However, my CPU did get up to 50, 60 sometimes, and that wasn't even when I was using the automator, and that kind of worried me a bit. So I've come up with a few ideas to reduce CPU load, which I'm going to go through now. It's probably going to take me another hour, and it's probably going to be a little bit boring, but anyway. So the first thing I have on the list here is ensure the cutoff filters are set to off. So if we go over to our morph tracks, you'll see that I have 2 auto filters per morph track, and they're assigned to these 2 knobs on each track. So here's my high pass and here's my low pass. Most of the time these are completely open, but what I want to do is I want to have these off when they're completely open because they're not actually used. Like when the high pass is at its maximum, I want to actually turn it off. So it's going to be a MIDI mapping marathon. So let's go to MIDI. That was the Windows key, not the key I wanted. Still getting used to Windows here. So let's go into mapping mode. Here's my MIDI mappings here. So obviously the frequency is mapped to that knob. What I also want is I want to map, what have we got here? This is high pass, this is low pass. So high pass knob needs to be 126 to 127. I believe that's right. Let me just go to MIDI mode. Okay, that was the low pass. Sorry guys, having a bit of a weird moment here. Hold on. Okay, we'll start with the controller as the top thing. So I need to map that to here. And when that's at its lowest value, this needs to be 1, that needs to be 0. So let's try that. Shunk. So you see how when that's completely down, it turns the device completely off, which means it's no longer using CPU. Very good. I'll do that very quickly for all the high passes. Bring these down. MIDI map mode. That guy. Boom. 1 and 0. Let's move across to the snare. One and 0. Hats, which is this one. 1 and 0. That's 2. 1 and 0. Percussion. 1 and 0. So this is just, again, MIDI mapping the power button of that cutoff filter as well as the cutoff frequency. And the final one. 1 and 0. Let's test that out. Okay, that works. Off. 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 Off. And we know that one does. Okay, let's move on to the low pass. So the low pass filter is this one here, but this one needs to be, pretty sure it's 126. I always get this wrong. Nope. So this needs to be 127, 126. Does that sound right? Yeah, so when that's completely open, it's off. So that's good. Low pass, high pass. So it only turns it on when I actually use it. which is exactly what we want. So let's do that quickly for all the low passes. 127, 126, snare, low pass, 127, hits 1, that's 2. Percussion. Synth 1. And we'll go synth 2. Okay, let's test that out. So low pass synth 2. When it's all the way up, it's off, good. All the way up, it's off, good. All the way up, off. All the way up, off. All the way up, off. No, I did that one wrong. Good checking. $126, $127? What's wrong with that? What is wrong? What track are we on? Hits 1, yeah? 127, 126. Okay, now it works. Good enough for me. That works. That works. That works. Fantastic. So that's 16 devices we now have only on when necessary. So what I'll do is I'll save that as 1.0.2. Filter off MIDI. Sounds good. Leandro, apparently it also says CPU to turn off any poles on the EQ8 that you aren't using. Interesting, I was not aware of that, and we are definitely using a lot of poles in the EQ8. When you say apparently, are you sure? I might do a quick Google. I do trust you, but I don't want to go through the whole process if we don't need to. Eight things you didn't know about EQ8. Like 75% sure. Well, let's have a look at our EQ8s anyway. Let's just see if we are actually utilizing all the poles. I'm pretty sure I am utilizing all the poles actually, because we're only using EQ8s in the synthesis side of things. But yes, I mean what the manual says is when a device is not receiving audio or has no tail like a reverb or a delay, if it's not generating audio or it's not receiving audio or it has no modulation, then it's not using any CPU like Ableton Smart and it shuts it off. So I'm trusting that, because I thought one thing I could do was, you know, when I trigger the track 6 tunes, then it would turn off all the EQs and all the operators for track 5 and so on. So as I move through my set, it turns things off. But just on that EQ8 fuzz, we don't even use one on synth 2 here for that. We have a lot of EQ8s actually. I'm pretty confident that most of the EQ8s we use, we're using all the poles when we did the sound design. So I'll skip the sound design ones. I don't believe I use EQ8 in any of the dummy clips or auto filters. The riser track, No EQ. No EQ here. I probably do have one over here. Okay, so here's a good example. We could turn off 2, 3, and 4 on this EQ8. Might as well do it. I mean, it's a good habit anyway. There's no point having unnecessary poles turned on. This one, the poles need to be there for sure. 1, 2, 3. So we can do all our crazy low mid skanks. Delay, we have a compressor, and then an overdrive. You heard the thing about the poles too? Okay. Well, that's cool. That's good. That only took a minute. We definitely, I mean, EQs are quite a big part of the synthesis track. I would have loved to just use operators and no EQ8s, but I think having an EQ after an operator is a necessary part of really shaping a, unique sounds, etc. So cool, thanks for that tip. I did not know that. I'll share a tip I learned. I didn't know you could drag and drop an EQ8 until a while ago. So you can actually select a bunch of poles and move them all at once. I never knew that. Maybe you did, but I didn't, and I think that's amazing. I've been using Ableton for live for years. I don't know when they introduced it, but I never found out. I didn't get the memo from the manual. Oh, you looked it up. What a legend. Each filter band can be turned on or off independently with an activator switch below the chooser. Turn off bands that are not used to save CPU power. To achieve a really drastic filtering effect, assign the same parameters to 2 or more filters. So that's from the manual. I'll take it as 100%. I appreciate the tip. Thank you very much. We just saved again. It's all about saving lots of little bits of CPU wherever we can. So I might as well save this now as, remember, we're being good with our versions. 3 EQ pole adjustment. That'll do. So that is now saved. Let's go back to our list and have a look. So I just did the ensure the cutoff filters are set to off thing. The dummy clips. Okay, this one's going to take a little bit of time as well. So let me extend the dummy clips out here. I just realized I've been ignoring everyone on Facebook. I apologize to whoever's watching on Facebook. If there's anyone. Oh, there's 10 people watching on Facebook. What's up, Stephen, Jan, Paul, Juliano, Nico, Matt, Boyd. Just everyone I missed. I apologize. For some reason, my normal chat thing, which shows Facebook messages as well, isn't showing Facebook messages, but I can see them on the website. So I apologize that I've been missing your messages. Let's see if anyone said anything. Like any good tips, like Neandra just gave me. Cool. Just nice positive messages. So thanks everyone on Facebook. Let's move on to the next thing on the list. So the dummy clips. So I believe it was at the percussion stage that I decided to put everything in racks. And this is good because the dummy clips I want to turn off completely whenever the none dummy clip is triggered. So you'll see how we have a none clip here. I want it to turn off the rack, but that means I'm going to have to go through this and do the adjustments of the actual dummy clips and put them into a rack. Or could I just drop them into a rack? It would be handy to be able to have access to all these parameters as macros. So I am going to do that. This is going to take a little while. I apologize again. So let's have a look at this dummy clip here. What we'll do first is we'll go to the hats. We'll group everything together. I just have to think about a plan of attack, and then I'll try and do this as fast as I can. So obviously we're playing with the phaser, dry, wet, and frequency. Yep, do we ever play with Okay, this one we're playing with the flanger, dry wet and delay time. Okay. I'm just checking which parameters I've changed in these. In the Redux, we only changed the sample soft. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead. Do I change the frequency of the phaser? I do. Do I change the feedback? I just want to double check here, sorry. Frequency. Frequency. Frequency.
Whoa.
Again, this is all shit that I could do offline. But I really want this series to cover everything. Even the boring stuff. Okay. So we'll go ahead and map the dry wet to macro 1. And we'll map the frequency to macro 2. I guess the quickest way for me to find out if I use the parameters is just to quickly play the dummy clips. I'm going to turn the master down. So let's just watch them. Because I've mapped them already. Okay, so let's unmap them and watch. So we're using the dry wet and the frequency, dry wet frequency. Yeah. So just the dry wet, we never actually changed the feedback on the HATS filter. Okay, so let's do that, dry wet and frequency, dry wet and frequency. So this is going to be a bit of a copy and paste job, I think. So let me just think about the best way to automate this. Let's have a look at the phases, see what they do, the flanger. So I'm changing the delay time, dry wet. I don't think I changed anything else. Let's double check. Dry wet, delay time, dry wet, delay time, dry wet, delay time, dry wet, delay time. Okay, we might as well map those as well. So we'll go dry wet, delay time. Okay, now let's look at the simple delay. I know that it'll be feedback, dry wet, and time. So let's do those. Feedback. We'll do the dry wet first. I hope I haven't used more than 8 in one dummy clip. That would suck. And time. And then, we've got a reverb as well, don't we? Oh no, we don't. We have a limiter. That's okay. So the down sample will also map to here. So, like so. What's up, Tommy on Facebook? How you doing? I'll keep trying to keep my eye on the chat. So we should rename these. We'll go phase wet, phase freak, flange wet, flange time. Then we have delay wet, delay feedback, delay time.
Oh, no, it's just parent stuff. It seems that our
And
youngest
this is Redux.
was on something called acid and was firing a bow and arrow into a crowd.
You know how kids are.
Okay, so now they're all mapped. I don't really want to copy and paste all these, but I'm just going to have to, aren't I? I can't think of another way to do this. Let's go audio effect track. Phaser. We'll go dry wet. Yep. So I'm just gonna go, I hope this works. All copy, and then we'll go audio effect track, phaser dry wet, paste. No, this isn't gonna work for me. You know what I'm gonna do here? I'm going to undo everything I've done. For the CPU usage thing, I am going to keep it in an audio effect rack. But I am going to ponder this. Hang on, let me write it down. Excuse me a sec. I need to find out a quick way to do that. I need to experiment around. So once I have thought of a good way to do that, I will update you guys, and I will do it on stream. But rather than, it's going to take a couple of hours, and I don't really want to do that right now. Okay, so by just having them in an audio effect rack, so this is the Hat 2 effect. Effects. That means at least we can go to the none and make sure that H2 effects, the device on, is set to off. So in theory, these are all on, these are all on, these are all on, but when it's on none, it's turned it off. So that's fixed the CPU problem. It hasn't tidied it up. I want that to be tidier, but again, I will cover that at a later stage. At this point, I just want to reduce the CPU. Let's just double check that works. 2-bar loop, and then off. Okay, good. So let's just do that with all of these for now. Like so. So we're going to group those together. Give it a name. Hat 1 effects. Now if we go into the none clip, go to Hat 1 effects, device on, device off. Very good. That is, however, going to potentially affect things that have reverbs and delays, but it could be a good thing. What we could potentially do is turn it off here and have it on for a whole bar. Just bear with me here, let's watch it. Sorry, I did it the wrong way around. So I want it to be on right up until that last point. Good, and then it goes to none. No, then none repeats itself. So none, we can make these not loops. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, that works. So that's a good solution. So by not having these as loops and having it turn off at the very end of the next bar, that means that any leftover reverb or tails will continue to play and not get cut off so suddenly. We might as well test that really quickly, just to make sure it sounds good. So I'm just going to pause this set of old madness, turn this up. Do we have a reverb here? We don't have a reverb in this one. In the percussion we do. So here's a reverb level 1. Let's just find a better clip. On something a bit busier. Sounds good. Sorry, let me turn that down a little bit. Okay, so on the percussion track here, let's go back over the dummy clips. Scroll up to the dummy clips. It doesn't actually matter because the reverb wet value goes down to 0 on the none clip either. So that was totally unnecessary. I'm kind of at a fork here. It's like I could... I think I will make the none clips that same function as I had, so they're on and then they turn off at the end of their bar, even though that effects like decay and delays wet value goes down to negative infinity or 0%. Just so in the future, if I do decide to add more dummy clips that do have delays that continue on, we can have them playing for at least another 3 bars and 3 beats. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. So anyway, let's put that set back on. Hopefully this track doesn't get me flagged. I'm starting to get quite tired now, so I'm going to get through this, I think, and then finish it off. So we had the hats on here, and then they turn off at the end. Let's do the same for the perk filter. So we need to go perk effects, device on. It needs to remain on till the last bar. So let's test that out real quick. Turn the volume down here. It didn't seem to work. It turned itself back on again. Why is that? Aha! So I wasn't zoomed in properly enough. That's the reason. So let's delete that automation. The point needs to be here, and we need to get rid of this point here. Now let's have a look. Okay. So here's the dummy clip, follow action, and then off. Yeah, that's what I want. Let's just go this way first. So synth 1, let's do that for synth 1. Synth 1 effects, device on, make sure we're zoomed out, on, right until the end, and get rid of this. So let's watch this. It's on, and then off. Very good. Let's play a clip, and then none, then off. Awesome. Let's do it for synth 2. Blah blah blah. Some of my old sets I bootlegged some tracks, so hopefully that doesn't get a copyright flag either. Who knows? Hopefully me talking over it and its volume is going to keep that at bay. So device on, again, make sure we're zoomed out and just have that come off at the end. Let's play that and watch, on and off. Very good. So we did percussion, on and off. Hats 2, on and off. Very good. Hats 1. We need to do the automation. What's going on here? Hat 1 effect. I'm just going to delete all this automation here. Make sure the last bar is off. Okay, let's play it and watch. On, off. One more time, on and off. Hey, you're back! Julian, Tom, how are you limiting the dB from each channel? With my ears and eyes. I'm obviously not doing a fantastic job. You can see we peak a little bit here. But basically in the sound design phase, I just made sure that when the loop was at its absolute busiest, it never peaked. I should probably reduce the levels even more. I do have a limiter on my master. However, I don't think it's actually really used. It's kind of there for like when I have these big dub delays, which the dub delay feeds back into itself, so they can get out of control quite quickly. So I've kind of just got the limiter there in case I accidentally turn the gain up too high on one of my dub delays or something. But I never really... Yeah, I try not to use limiters unless I want it as like a safety guard, like a way that, you know, if I'm going to be doing something live that I know might get out of control, or, you know, maybe accidentally turn the resonance of something up to like 200% and do a filter sweep. I don't, you know, that's like an eardrum killer. I don't want to do that, so I want to maintain 0 dB at all times. But yeah, I tried in the sound design stage, I tried to design all the sounds with EQs and levels just to sit with each other nicely. I don't want to have any compression or any mastering on the output if possible. So hat 1, we just did that one. Very good. Let's go over to the snares. I'm going to group these tracks together. We'll rename this to snare effects. Go into the none clip, snare effects device on, and make sure it turns off at the end. So it's on and then off. Very good. Do the same for the bass. Group. Bass effects. Oh, just touch the knob like that and then it's automatically here for us. Turn that off there and get rid of that point. So let's watch, it's on and off. And finally the kick. Ah, man, this set has way too many bootlegs. I know it sounds stupid, but I think I'm going to get in trouble with YouTube. Where's something a bit more recent? We used to do lots of like bootlegs of pop tracks and turn them into like breaks and sidetracks for fun. Full circle, these are really old sets. Hold on a minute. It might sound niggly, but last thing I want is YouTube going, you played the Ghostbusters theme. Now we are flagging your video. Live at Summer Solstice, Melbourne, Australia. I think this one's pretty original. 2006. I know this one is 100% original because it's all weird tracks that I've never really played in one set. Okay, so back to where we were. The kick, let's group everything, rename it to kick effects, touch the button and automate it off at the end. Let's test that. Good. Whoa. Good. Okay, so that's another little optimization for CPU we have sorted out. What's up, Hellbent? How you doing? Yeah, the equal dose one. They said play all the tracks that you never play in your usual sets, so I did. Half of them are unfinished, they're all just stems. It's a bit weird, but... okay, let's save this now as 4. And we'll go dummy clip rack automation. Version control. Hellbent, we're playing version control today. I'm learning how to version control properly because the corruption really screwed me last time. So the dummy clip's tied into racks. I'm going to draw over this and this because I haven't exactly tidied it up yet. I still need to think about the best way to optimize that. Ensure that none equal rack off. Yep, that's what we just did. Turn off the operators of previous tracks. So this is an interesting one based on... I don't think I'm going to do that one because, yeah, in the manual it says if an operator is not generating any noise, then it is not using any CPU, and I believe that thoroughly. Let's do a quick test. Here is track 1. CPU jumps up to... It's getting up to about 50. Very good. Let's play track 2 on the main loop. Very good. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue. And it also restricts me, like let's say I want to mix, you know, the kick from one track with the percussion of another, with the synth from another later down the track. That's something I'd like to be able to do. So I'm not going to have the operators turn off automatically. Yeah. As I was saying earlier in the stream, I'm pretty good with version control when it comes to contractual jobs that I have. But when I'm producing, especially when I'm live streaming, I just tend to like save as, or over itself, or save it as something stupid. But that did get me into a bit of a problem last Saturday. So this time we are doing versioning. So I'm going to cross that off. The automated move name into function, we already did that. We already did the grid points thing. I'm going to leave the automated presets for version 2. I'm not actually going to, because that's going to take quite a long time, so we'll leave that out until version 2. The riser in the fuller track, modify to stop clip and kill device. Okay, this is an interesting one. So let me stop all the clips here. And where's our riser track? Here's our riser track. So what currently happens is the riser plays. I'll mix it in with the set you currently hear. So what happens is I make a big riser. Like so. And when the fuller plays, boom, this riser killer turns off the riser instrument rack. Now, I've decided that I don't want that. Because I have a reverb included in the riser chain, you can see all of the effects that I use here. So I have a reverb with a dry wet. What I want to do is, currently these 8 buttons trigger the 8 fuller sounds. So there's one, they're all white noise at the moment. There's another one, there's another one. What I want to do is I want to have it so that this also triggers them, but it doesn't actually turn off the rack. It simply stops the clip. And I'm just going to take nearly 3 hours. I'm going to take a very short break. I'll be back in a minute and we'll do that. Stay tuned. Okie dokie. Hey, what's up there, Beyond? How you doing? You got a run, Andra? Cool. Thanks for tuning in once again, as always. Sitting through me doing boring tasks. Hey, we're learning. It's fun. have a great day or night, whatever you're doing. So, yeah, as I said, the for the track, I want it to either turn the device off completely, as in a clean stop, or stop the clip, which means it'll keep playing with the reverberation. And the way I'm going to do that is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the tracks here. At the moment, they're all simply white noise, and everything is automated within the operator, and there is currently no pitch information being used. So no matter what note I play, it's going to play the same sound regardless, which is white noise. Which I can't hear. There it is there. So when we get into the sound design tomorrow, where I'm going to design 8 individual sounding fullers, I'm going to stick to that method of having fixed pitch values for the fuller sound, and not use note information or MIDI pitch bend information, because that allows me to use any note that I want in this in this MIDI clip, which means that I'm going to duplicate those fuller tracks twice. I'm just going to copy over those mini ones, and we'll call this one A to A. So these are going to be the clips that stop the clip instead of actually turn off all the devices. So I have to do a little bit of max for live here. I think this is the right way to do it. E, F, G, and H. So these will currently play C1, or C3, sorry. I'll make these ones play... Actually, I'll make all of these ones play C0. C negative 2. Sorry. I'm starting to get really tired. I think this will be the last thing I do for the session. I'll make all these play C negative 2, because that's MIDI note number 0. So 4, C negative 2. I'm just holding down shift and pushing down until it goes all the way down to the C0. 7 is C0, and 8 is C0. But for these ones, I want it to be C sharp 0. So we'll go shift down and then up 1. Shift down, up 1. That one didn't look right. No, that's all good. Shift down, up 1. And the reason I'm doing that is so that in the Max for Live device, it's going to receive a different MIDI note depending on which of these clips is triggered, which will either turn off the devices or stop the clip. So just changing all of these to C sharp. Oops. Move that down. My boring tasks are more interesting than work. Good. Which is ironic, because this is my job. I'll take that as a compliment. Thanks, Helby. Okay, so these will play C sharp. Good. These will play C. I'm going to save it at this stage, because I'm a good boy. So we'll go second fallers, C sharp. I'm not going to use a hash in a file name. And very good. Okay, so now we need to go into a Max riser device here, which is called the Riser Killer 1.0. Let's go into edit mode and see how we built this, because I've totally forgotten. Okay, so it's super simple in edit mode. Basically, it was set to listen for any note coming in, and if the velocity changed, it would bang the instrument off. So set value 0 to the riser instrument track device on. So I want to keep this like so, but with this one, I'm just thinking it's going to send 0 for C -2 and 1 for C sharp -2. But it's going to send it twice, one on the note on and one on the note off. So I might need to be a little bit clever here. And I'll add a cell 0. So this is the velocity, so this is going to report the velocity to us. So if the velocity is 0, which means the note is off, then it's going to reset a 1 bang. So a 1 bang only lets through 1 bang until you send it another bang in the right inlet. So if I connect this here, we need to determine what note it is first. Let's do that, hang on. So before the 1 bang, let's put a cell 0 and a cell 1. So if the note is 0, we want it to do what it did before, which was turn off all of the instruments. However, that needs to be on that outlet. However, if it matches 1, what we need to do is add another live chooser. We'll do a what are they? They're MIDI tracks. So we'll do a scenes clip MIDI. And what I'll do is go back into Ableton Live here. And on the riser track for the second clip slot, I'm going to add a stop button. Okay, bear with me here. So what I need this to do is create a live object. So I can tell it to choose the right scene. No, not scene MIDI. I need track MIDI. My apologies. So back to the choosers. Track, clip, MIDI. Okay, that's what I need here. So I can pick a track, which will be the riser track, and I'll pick a clip, which will be the clip number 1, which is the stop button. So that's going to send the ID across to the live object, and I'm just going to send it a message called call fire, and that's going to send into the live object there. So when you do call fire, it will trigger that clip slot that you have currently selected in this menu here. So that means that if a value of 1 comes through, it goes into the 1 bang. Hang on a minute. So I need to do it this way here. If 0 comes in, if 1 comes through, sorry, this is Tom thinking mode. 0 comes through, yep, so it lets through a bang to the cool fire. Let's move this down here. That's annoying. That's all good. And then when it receives the note off value, just thinking if there's a better way to do this. Hold on, guys. I mean, I can do it how I did the dummy random trigger thing. That's probably a better idea. So I'm going to go select 0, 1, and 2. So that's going to pick up C -2, C sharp -2, and D2. So let's get rid of this 1 bang. So that's all good. Turns it off. If it receives C sharp, it will stop the clip. And then when it receives D, well, it doesn't matter if it triggers it twice, right? It's a stop button. Maybe that'll just work. Let's try it. So I'm going to add these to the presentation. I'll put these here. Bring these down. Move these up. We'll go device off. like so, and we'll just duplicate that across to Control A isn't Control All. Weird. Stop. Caps lock. Stop. Track. Yeah. I think this should work. If it doesn't, it should be fairly simple to figure out. So I'm just going to move these up here a little bit. And we will do our versioning thing. So we'll call this Riser Killer 1. Sorry, 0.1. Track stopper, or clip stopper. Like so. Close it down. Okay, so what I need to do... No, this should all work. So the riser instrument rack device on, that's done. Let's go MIDI track, riser. The clip we want to play is unnamed. Maybe I need to make that a clip slot. Okay, so let's open this up again. Just thinking about it. So instead of a MIDI clip slot chooser, we probably should have chosen a tracks clip slots instead. Yeah, so we need that instead, so let's just remove that, replace it with this. So it was actively looking for a MIDI clip, whereas this is looking at a clip slot even if it's empty with a stop button. So now we need to add that to the presentation and drag it up here. And save that as trigger slot, not MIDI. Close that down. So now if we list the riser track, we can choose clip slot number 2, which of course is this one here. So let's just do a little bit of testing here. I'm going to turn on my instrument rack, stop this clip, and let's play. So that's obviously working. And if we play a faller, it's turned it off. Okay, so that works as it should and as it did before. That's very good. Let's try it again. Let's turn this on. And let's hit 1A and cross your fingers. But it quantizes. No, that's okay. I think the quantization is okay. Let me just stop the music for a sec, and we'll actually try it with some music. Let's jump up here. We're going to play our first track. It's probably loud. Whatever. Okay, back to the riser track. Just while I remember, I'm going to add a compressor after everything and sidechain it to the bass. Oh no, we've already got a sidechain track set up, which is here. So I'll send the riser audio and the ins and outs to the sidechain. Let's trigger this. Did that work? I'm not sure. playing. Okay, so that note off triggered it. Let's try that again. Yeah, so it's not working exactly right. So this triggers on time, but this waits for quantization. Unfortunately, there is no way to set quantization for a stop button. So what I might do is just put in a blank MIDI clip instead and set the quantization to none. So hopefully that does pretty much the same job. Let's try. Yeah, that works. Let me just hide my send so I can just double check that works. And we'll see what happens when it receives that note off value. Because it's going to trigger this blank clip again. Which is very good. What I'll do is I'll make this blank clip not a loop. And we'll make it 1 beat long. So let's play the riser again. Change the track up. Play the riser. Let's bring everything down. Try and make a cool one. Sorry, I keep looking at my mic. It worked. Let's try it again. Very good. So now what we can... interesting. So that note off was triggering this clip here, which in turn starts the whole set from playing. I wonder if that's going to cause me any troubles. I don't think so when I'm actually playing. Very good. So now what I can do is go into my MIDI settings. I originally had on the riser track, what do I have? I have an operator, a flanger, I have an auto filter, an audio effect rack. Yeah, I had this weird pan shit, so let me just play it. Oops, I'm pushing the wrong buttons here. I'm getting tired. I'm going to stop after I do this bit here, guys. Stop this clip here. Turn it on. I keep hitting the wrong buttons. Yeah, I'm getting sleep deprived. So I originally had them, and if we go look in the auto pan, it's just picking a whole bunch of different auto pans. And there's quite a lot of CPU as well, because we have reverb going into different chains, and I'm moving up through the different auto pan chains. They're all going to be using stuff. So I'm going to get rid of that. I don't actually like that effect anyway. So I'm going to remove that. And what I'm going to do instead is go into MIDI mode and map. What are these all mapped to? The fuck? I don't know what CC that is. That's on 1, so it's on this side. Maybe it's these buttons. I can't quite remember. Anyway, it's irrelevant now. Let's get rid of these mappings. And we'll go for the bottom row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exit MIDI mode. Let's just do white noise, a lot of reverb, and a filter with resonance. I think I'll put the filter before the reverb actually. Turn off the high cut, make it high quality mode. And this is the circumstance where we would want a low cut on the reverb. Sorry, I'm going to try that again. Awesome. Wait for that clip off value just to make sure it doesn't do any weirdness. We'll probably see it trigger again. There it is. Okay, and let's try one more with the original just to double check that. Very good. Let's make this red. Let's make this green. So that's the riser and the fall pretty much sorted. I'll sound design these tomorrow so they're all a little bit different and not just white noise drops. I'll make them specific to each track. Yeah, so where's our list here? Riser, fall, and modify to stop, clip, and kill device. Goodbye. So what we have left, we've got design drones for each track for the brainwave. I haven't got my brainwave thing sorted yet. I've got to get my brainwave data fed into it. So, I mean, if you're not familiar, I have a brainwave monitoring crazy thing that sends my brainwaves to the computer as modulation sources. So my brainwaves are going to be modulating drones, and I'm going to have to design the drones for each track. It's going to be kind of like scary industrial kind of stuff. And what happens in my brain, like if I get really excited, the drones will get more exciting, or if I'm bored, they'll kind of go bleh. The problem is, yeah, there's quite a lot of data that gets fed into Max for Live, so I need to add a speed limiter. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. And then the MIDI clips determine the patch. What I mean by that is over on this morph track, I've actually already set this up. So you'll see how we have track 1 here. This will be the drone track. And you'll see that I have down here, this should be 1. Under program change, I have bank 1. I'm not sure if I'll do that. I might use instrument racks instead, actually, because I think I just want to use operators completely. So anyway, that'll be in the sound design stuff. Then tomorrow for the sound design, different colors for clips. That's not a big deal, more of a GUI thing. I want variations on the sound design. So currently I have, for each track, I basically have kind of like 4 intro type ones. So as an example, let me just stop all tracks, play this. So you can hear that's kind of like a low version, and each one gets a little bit more busy. What's up, Pole Donut? What's up, Trusco? So you can see they get a bit more busy, and they all kind of build up to the main track, which is here. And then when I'm ready to, mix into the new track, I can take the bass out and the hats, like so, and then I can just start triggering tracks in here. And then I can trigger these two. Stop these guys. These chords are still going, which is cool. I think the chords are being affected by the automator. It must be. Yeah, they are. Let's clear that so we get them nice and... We'll clear everything. Nice simple chord. It's good with reverb. And we can slowly move across. And then when I'm ready, I can kind of move up to the next one. I accidentally just hit a MIDI clip button then. And then we've got the main track. So what I want to do as far as the variations go is, so I've got the leading into the main loop sorted. What I'd like to do is I'd like to have 3 versions of the main loop. So we'll go down to the final track. Here's the main loop. So I'd go ahead and create another scene, which would be very similar to the main loop, but have some variation. This poly main, for example. I could make it a bit busier. So you see what I mean? I can have 3 different variations of the main loop, so the main loop can kind of still progress as well. And then the final one, because there'll be 8 in total, the final one will be a bit more stripped back. So the final one kind of allows for the next track to sneak in. So that's what I mean about the sound design, or the variations for each variations of sound design. Fallers for each track, we just covered that. So each track is going to have its own unique faller. Operators and racks with macros. So this is something I was thinking about because I didn't have access to my push 2 during my performance. I couldn't get inside the operator and change the parameters I wanted to. But then I was thinking maybe that's a bit overkill. Like, I can still do that if I want to, but what I could do is put the operators in racks and map the 8 most, the 8 best parameters of that synthesizer to macros, and that would make things a lot easier for me to tweak live, to put them in racks. The other thought was one rack check CPU load, so I could have one rack and macro 1 would control a parameter of synth 1, synth 2, synth 3, synth 4, synth 5, 6, all the way to 8. But that might be, there's a few issues there, like that could be a CPU problem. I'm not sure, we'll have to muck around there. Snare shouldn't be sidechained, as I said. Let's fix that one now. Let's just fix that right now, because it's easy. Here's the snare track. Ins and outs. Audio is the sidechain. I want that to go to the master. Let's see if we can hear the difference here. So let's play this track. So you can definitely hear the snare there. But if this was going to the sidechain, hear how the kick is sidechaining the snare, so I want the snare to go to the master. So that's done. Let's go save as 0.6 snare D sidechained. So that was easy. We got rid of that one quickly. Sends should be sidechained. Let's cover that real quickly as well. So I've got a reverb send. I've got a dub delay sender. Oh no, I've got a delay sender, a short delay sender, a dub delay sender, and an overdrive. I want the audio of all these to be sidechained as well, so I'm going to open these up wide so we can see the audio too. So instead of master, the audio 2 of the reverb needs to go to the sidechain, the audio of the sync delay needs to go to the sidechain, the short delay needs to go to the sidechain. The dub delay doesn't, because remember this is sending back in on itself to create the dub delay, so we don't need to change that one. But the dub delay out does, so that goes to the sidechain, and the drive to the sidechain as well. So let's test that out. Let's just pick this here. Close these down. Open them up a little bit. So let's close the ins and outs. Let's send the dub delay up. We'll stop the kick track. We'll stop. Excuse me. We'll stop all the tracks actually. We'll just play this one and the kick. Okay, let's stop that. So the dub delay track, let's make it go a little crazy. So let's see if the kick sidechains that now. Yep, perfect. Okay, we should quickly test the other ones. So bring the gain down. Let's choose this guy. Let's send that to send A, which is the reverb. Turn the kick off. So it's really big. Bring in the kick. Sidechained. Okay, so that works. Turn the kick off. Send it to the short delay. Bring in the kick. So that side chains. Short delay. Lots of feedback. Side chain. And finally the drive. Just remove the feedback of that. Bring that up a bit. Maybe pick a difference. sounding good. Okay, so that's the side chaining part done. Send should be re-side chained. Rethink dummy effects. This is kind of moving over into with the dummy tracks. I'm finding them a little bit too intrusive sometimes. Like I noticed, let me just get that down. Play track 5. Let me just randomly select dummies. Try again. Like sometimes it's a little bit too much. It's good for like just before a drop or something, but sometimes I don't want that. I just want a little fill. So with that one, I'm thinking about putting the dummy tracks in a rack so that I can have a dry wet knob, because this knob is currently unused. So this could be like this could be a dry wet knob for the random dummy effects. And then we've got mapping MIDI stuff. So I just want to map. I didn't get into it today, but I want to see if I can get the launchpad working, and I want to get all the buttons mapped to various things so I can jump to different places, different effects, different synthesizers, open up the automator, trigger all the risers and the fallers. So I want to be able to have more control. I basically don't want to touch the keyboard and the mouse on my laptop, because that's what pissed me off the most at that performance. So, bit of it back to work, Hellbent. Yep, good. I better get to sleep. I think I've done enough tonight for this session. Again, if you've been watching and stuck through, well done. It wasn't exactly riveting production stuff, but we cleaned it up a lot. We should save this like a good person. 7. What did we change then? I forget. What did we just change? Sidechain returns. Very good. So I've saved that. I will start again tomorrow. We'll get everything sorted. It'll be sound design. It'll be a pretty big marathon. I'm going to go to bed now, and I'll probably be up and streaming again in about 9 hours from now, if you guys are interested. Maybe 10. Depends. Sometimes I wake up and play with the cat for an hour. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you had a good one. That was the tidy up session. I'm now feeling a lot more confident about the set after the weekend. Have a fantastic day or evening.